everyone, welcome to the Seeds of Success podcast, hosted by Dottie San Martin and myself, Orly Rivera. This show is your weekly dose of knowledge, insights, and actionable tips to transform centers into striking successes. Whether you're a seasoned industry professional or just stepping onto the lanes, we've got you covered. Dottie, I see that you have a new guest for us. We log in sometimes, and usually it's me and you, but every once in a while, somebody else pops up in a little window, and I'm like, okay, who Dottie drag on the show this week? So I'm going to let you introduce our guest for this week.
I will say, we do have a guest, and I am very happy to announce that we have Cathy Dorin-Lizzi with us today. And Cathy, please tell Orly that I did not drag you here.
She dragged me kicking and screaming. Don't believe her. No, not at all. It's my pleasure. Believe me. Thank you so much.
Yes. Well, it is definitely our pleasure to have you. And Cathy, we were just chatting earlier today about the experience and being in this industry. First of all, I don't know about you, but I never in a million years would I have thought that I would be in this industry as long as I have. But you know what? I can't envision myself anyplace else. Not where I thought I would be, and I kind of have a sneaking suspicion that you feel the same way.
I do. I've been in the bowling industry over 35 years, maybe even longer. I've bowled. I've seen bowling from so many different avenues and aspects because I was a bowler. I bowled high school, college, and then I went on to bowl on tour for 20 years. And then I got married and owned 2 bowling centers. And now I sell bowling equipment. So I've seen it from so many different avenues, and I've seen it change over 3 decades. And it's a privilege to still be able to be in an industry that I not only love, but I believe in. And that anytime I can do whatever for anybody to make it better for them, I'm all in.
Absolutely. And it's very easy to see when you speak about bowling, any aspect of bowling, be it the competitive or the running the center, which we all know that there are times where you aren't going to speak about that so passionately because it is a job and a half to be in that business. But it's very easy to see when someone is passionate about something and you speak about something, it comes through. And it's very easy for me to see that you do have a love for this industry, this sport, this bowling family. And so today, and like you said, you've seen every single side of bowling. And it's that passion that I kind of want to talk about today, and that desire to keep bowling going and growing in today's world. And we have seen post-COVID, we saw a boost. We saw a lot of people get into the industry that COVID shined a light on the bowling industry and the fact that we all came to a screeching halt and we ramped back up. We were, exposed how we've changed our cleaning and how it was a great place to be with people you knew. It was a safe place to be entertained. And as a result, we got a lot of people into this industry that were new, that did not have a lot of bowling knowledge. And I, for one, like the fact that I have been in this industry just like you for a long time. And we get to share that experience that they don't have. And I feel privileged to be able to do that. And one of the things we wanted to talk a little bit about today is, as you said, you also now are able to work for a company where you sell product and you get to help people modernize their locations and put in, get that new shiny toy in, which is very exciting. And with that comes the ability to obviously grow and make more money. When you're doing that, one of the things that stands out to me is the process that you, as Cathy Dorin-Lizzi, take with your customers. And I think there's a message here, whether you're a bowling proprietor purchasing something new or any other business where you are purchasing something new that's going to be a driver for new growth in your center. You have some words of wisdom that you want to talk to us about. So that's kind of where I want to start today.
Yeah. So when I first started with the company, it'll be 7 years in October. I took the job because I believed in the product. I could never have taken this job to sell anything if I didn't believe in the product. And I have the product in both of my centers. So it reestablishes my credibility, I believe, as a proprietor when I go to not just sell something to a customer, but I want to teach them about it. If this is what they want, I want them to truly understand what the product is about and how that product is truly going to benefit their bowling center. Because proprietors don't own bowling centers to be there all day and all night. We buy businesses because we want to make money, be successful, and produce a product that will make other people happy. But when I first took the job, I was told this is all about relationships.
Yes, ma'am.
And I didn't fully understand what that meant because 90% of my customers knew who I was from bowling, but they didn't know me. They knew who I was, but they didn't know me. And it is 150% about relationships because when I walk into the bowling center, I want them to believe me.
Yes.
I want them to trust me because now as a proprietor, when these sales guys walk in to sell me whatever, I want to be able to trust them too.
You're exactly right.
I allow my customers to know I am a customer. And so if I feel that this customer is not ready to sign a contract or move forward on a big purchase, I'm not pushy, but every once in a while I'll give them a little push. And I think there's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to read the room where I am, and I don't tell everybody I'm a proprietor if they don't really know who I am, but I use it in the best scenarios to let them know I get it. And maybe I sell a little differently than everybody else, which I think I do. It's because I see through their eyes, their pain, their fear. Nobody wants to write a $250,000 check. Depending on what your age is, nobody wants to go out and get another loan. I mean, I certainly wouldn't. And that's where the relationship comes into me saying to them, trust me, when you're ready, we will do this and we will work through this whole process together. We'll be on the same page because at the end of the day, we want Cubica to be happy for what we've produced. But I want that customer to be happy at what he has just purchased because it's life-changing for them.
Yes.
And I want to get across to my customers, we don't just walk in and say, okay, you got to sign this contract today because we want all that money. That is totally not what Cubica is about. Cubica is about, and this was another reason why I loved the company, because the owners in the company, their philosophies and what we stand by is we want proprietors to stay in business. We want bowling centers to make money. We don't want to see them close for any reason. So if there's any way we can help, we want to. But we try to focus on letting the customer know, let me walk you through the process of what you would like to purchase. Let's walk through it together. You don't have to buy everything at once. But I want you to be able to get this product and install it on your timeline. I want you to be the happiest customer out of everybody. But you have to follow some procedures in order to make that happen. And
there's accountability.
We want everybody to be happy, but there's timelines for everybody. Certain bowling centers don't have time to shut down for an installation of new machines, scoring lanes, whatever it might be. So that's where the communication comes in. And once that communication is fulfilled on both ends, everybody will end up happy. That's a guarantee.
Yes, 100%. And the confidence that you need, that's so important. And again, you can tell that there's passion there. And I think that that's really important. I know, and I too was a customer long before, I was one of the first Cubica AMF customers in the US after Pat Sinello. But, I've used all of these products. Every scoring system Cubica AMF has ever manufactured, I have utilized to its fullest. And at the time, the center that I worked at wanted every single thing. If we've got the feature, you need to be using it. I paid for it. You better use it, right? So, and I did just that. We used all the features. And so I know from my own experience that the revenue that can be generated if you use your product right And so I am not speaking to someone, just giving them a pitch. I'm saying this, I know this because I've done this and it will work. If you do X, Y, and Z, right?
Yeah.
Just like what you're saying. If you do this, the final results are going to be this, right? And I think it's really important.
Yeah, I think, and like, you mentioned the passion and stuff, and it's so much. I would say it's even more fun when you sell. I mean, I don't sell, but when you're able to sell something that you believe in, that you've used, that, even me, I love working for a company that I get to share. Like, I'm excited to share information about, some of my friends are just like, where do you work? And I tell them, and I'm like, explain all these things, and they're probably never going to buy something bowling in for life, but I'm still explaining it all, or for instance, you can see me, guys, I'm wearing my Cubica hat right now. When somebody comes up to me or is looking at them, I want to be like, yeah, I work for Cubica AMF. This is what we offer. These are some of the fun things that we do. I love doing it. And yeah, it makes a difference when you have that passion, I'm like that with a lot of products. It could be something I buy, and I'm telling, I'll be at the store. I live in Wisconsin. People here are super friendly, and you could spend an hour in the, the checkout line because they want to talk to you. And sometimes I'll be talking about something, and I'm like, oh, you've never heard of this? Hold on, let me show you on my phone how you could get it. Like, I'm just passionate about everything I do. And yeah, that I like that about you, Cathy, that you're passionate about what you sell. And that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and I am very passionate about it. And I always feel, we had a customer that we renovated their center, and it's a very big center a few years ago. And I took so much pride in that because I knew what it took to get that. But the owners really saw and appreciated everything. We checked every box. Everything we said we would do, we did. And they just so appreciated it, and they saw it financially. But we also helped them change how they did business. And so sometimes you walk into a bowling center, and the guy looked at me and he goes, listen, I'm a bar. I just happen to have 8 lanes out there. We really don't use them. I'm really not looking to you. I said, okay, this is who I am. If you ever change your mind, here's my number. I'll stop in and see you once every 6 months, once every year, whatever. But other bowling centers don't understand that you are a 16-lane bowling center. You have a great bar and great food. It's not the other way around. And so that 16 lanes is your anchor. And it's like anything else. It needs care, and it needs to be looked after.
Yes.
And so that's where we would come in to help you and say, this is what I think you need to do. Not what you want, but what you need to do, because needs and wants are different.
That's right.
And so that's where it becomes a relationship and a partnership. And I do love it. I mean, when I think of some of the, mods that I've gotten to do and how it's really revolutionized that business, I feel so good knowing that maybe I just had a little piece of making that happen. And that's extremely gratifying because it's changed them forever.
Yeah.
And so, it's not everybody can say that. And I'm proud that I work for a company that has allowed me to be able to find another passion, not just bowling and not just being a proprietor, but helping bowling centers stay in business, make more money, and give back to the community. And communities really support. They really do.
Yeah. And it's very clear. You do take it personally.
I do.
And it does become a relationship, and we do that a lot, even in marketing. We practice relationship marketing, right? And I think that, when you develop that relationship and you do make it personal, you feel like you're buying from a friend. You feel like you've got that confidence. You trust them and trust you've earned that trust. And people feel comfortable making decisions where they're buying from somebody where you've gotten that relationship. It's no different than when Orly says, hey, Dottie, I have a slot on my Tuesday night league. Would you bowl in it? Well, I'd be more apt to say yes because Orly's my friend and my colleague than if somebody had just picked up the phone and called me. I have that confidence. He's my friend. I trust him. I will have fun if I do this. So it's no different than something like that. But it is true and that people do feel more comfortable when there's that trust and there's that confidence and that personal connection. So,
And you see in your area, a lot of customers probably say, "Oh, I don't need marketing kits. I don't need the extra training. I don't need," but I always try to use the line from Jerry Maguire. I go, "Help me help you."
exactly.
Let me in a little bit and then help me help you. And I tell my customers, reading the room, but I know so many of them so well now, but I've had to earn that trust.
Yes,
They
you
saw me
do.
bowl on TV. I think that's great, but they don't know whether to trust me or not with a
Exactly.
$200,000 project. And so you earn that. But I try to tell them, let me help me help you. And if I don't have the answer, and I tell them, that's too techie for me. Now I try to get smarter, but I say, I will get you the answer. And
That's
I go
right.
to the people that are the aces in that division, because there's no better company to work for. And all I have to do is pick up the phone and I can find somebody. But like you, we want the customer to allow us in to help them.
Right. And you're right. If trust is earned, and trust is earned, when you are doing the right things, when you are, putting yourself in the customer's shoes. And I say this right off, I deliver virtual marketing to customers all over the world, right? And the one thing they know from me is I'm working with you, and from today forward, this is just like it's my bowling center, because the recommendations I'm making to you
That's
is
right.
on this center. This is exactly what I would be doing. And that's, that's exactly the way I do things. And that's putting myself out there and saying, hey, I would not recommend this unless I would do it myself. And that's important. That's how trust is earned.
That's right.
And that's how relationships are built. So, well, Cathy, thank you so much. This has been a great topic. And I think that, this is something, that everybody can utilize. There are things that you need to do to prepare, for your purchases, and for just, you want to find those vendors, those people. You want to connect with the right companies that you get. I call it a warm fuzzy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want your customer to have that warm fuzzy to know it's okay. They're walking through my door and I know I need to do this, and I'm pretty comfortable that they're going to make sure that I've got all the steps, even though they're going to tell me things I might not like to hear. I'm going to do what they tell me to do, because I know, I trust, I have confidence that they're going to tell me the right way to be successful. And that's what it's all about.
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, listeners, thank you so much for being a part of today's episodes of Seeds of Success. With decades and decades of industry experience that we now have today, we're honored to share ideas, strategies, and trends designed to help entertainment centers like yours thrive and grow. Together, we're planting seeds for a stronger, more successful future. Share this podcast with your team and industry friends, because the more seeds we sow, the greater the harvest. Until next time, listeners, let's continue to build success, one happy guest and one incredible experience at a time.